So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to walk you through one builder, and then we're going to examine the other builders by just looking at the game, and then I will quickly take you through the journey of how to add your own builder. Because what I really want people to do is to see how easy this is and to be able to create their own objects. Because what I got in here so far is most of the things that I think you'd need to make a basic game. But there's always other ideas that people might have, and I'd like to see them try to do that on their own. So, having said that, let me first take you on a tour here. If you downloaded this last week, or if you download it today, what you're going to see is you've got the game in a flat version, which is going to be in the folder Game under I Can Make That, They Need to Be Fed app. So game is just the game code, no harness, doesn't have any menus or anything like that. But there's also a folder called Framed Game, which is the same code, but it uses Composer and some other code that I added. And what's going on here? Oh yeah, it always oh, it would help if you, yeah, sorry. Okay, this adds, let me do it again. It adds a splash screen, and as you alluded to, we needed to call this something, and I didn't want to call it They Need to Be Fed the Clone or something like that. So I'm calling it Monsters Need Coins because there's monsters and coins. I was very creative. So we've got a splash screen. It's got soundtrack, sound effects, and those are turned on in the frame. The sound effects are also in the game, but I turned them off because I can't stand listening to noise music over and over when I'm developing. When it comes up here, it's got a menu with up to 32 entries for the levels. We currently only have 4 levels. You can click on the options thing here, which is lets you select music on, sound effects on and off. That part's not hooked up. You can play with it if you want, but I haven't hooked it up yet. And then we got level 1, which we've seen before. Level 2, which has got some components in it. Can you hear that music bleeding through? Because I will turn that off in a second.
Yeah, go ahead and turn it off. But...
Okay, yeah, it's kind of annoying. This is exactly what I'm saying.
It's just because it's competing with you.
Yeah. Where are you?
Is this a soundtrack from, what's his name? I can't remember his name.
Yeah, Incompetech. Yeah. The site is Incompetech, and the name is... Might always forget. Yeah, put me on the spot. Good job.
Oh, sorry. Incompetech. That's good.
Yeah, good enough for now. The credits are in here. Okay, so level 1 we've seen. Level 2 is basically just like level 1, except now we've got more spikes and more coins. You'll notice that I forgot to mention this, that we used to have a counter here, and this is true for the flat version, for the framed version. I replaced that with a visual HUD that shows the number of coins you've collected versus the ones you still got to get. So as we get more, these turn gold, and there's 2 whitish, silverish ones, which means we've got to collect those 2 to complete the level. Okay, let's go back. Level 3 adds a new element, which is the round block that when you walk on it, it starts to, it's got a little timer on it, and then after 10 seconds, it disappears, and then you gravitate towards the nearest object. So you've got elements in your level which only last for a certain amount of time. And then my favorite is I added a bunch of track following elements in the game. So you got all these different styles of objects that follow tracks. And if we look at the level that goes with this, that's level 4. Again, it's just as simple as putting in a marker. So H3 is a horizontal track type 3. And there are 6 types of horizontal tracks and 6 types of vertical tracks. And the types basically what they tell you is how wide is the track? Is it 2 units wide or 3 units wide? And then which direction does it start moving? Left to right or right to left? So it's very simple. Sergey looks like he's got a question. No, okay, I'm looking down. Sorry. Okay, so anyways, let me get this out of here.
So as you were demoing that new feature with the block that disappears.
Yeah.
I was thinking that's a puzzle game. Imagine a grid of round circles that have different colored um, dots, right? Each dot's a different color, and then you have to jump from dot to dot before they disappear, and then figure out your way to the end, right? Your classic puzzle, your maze type puzzle or whatever, but with these time sensitive dots. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that's exactly it. That's I mean I do a semi okay job in this demo, but when you play the actual game, it's really a challenge sometimes to get through there and get all the coins and figure
Yeah,
out the right sequence and everything.
because I would imagine that once you've touched the dot, you start the timer, right? So as
Yeah,
soon
as
as you
soon as you
touch
touch the dot, the timer starts.
so if you decide you want to go back, you better do it in a hurry because your
Yeah,
your,
so I
your
mean
dot's
that's
going to
like this one
disappear.
here. It's times that you've got to hurry up. Whoops.
Yeah.
And I'm toast.
But if
Now
you need to go back, yeah, you're like, okay, I can go back for a little. My dot's gone.
yeah. Otherwise, you get stuck at the top. But the good thing I noticed about this game, I'm going to call it our implementation, is we have a very unique kind of air control, so you can really kind of like abuse this system to navigate around the world.
I'm all about getting credit for things I didn't do. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's me. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so how do we do this? It's very simple. Let's go back to the flat game, and let's take a look at some code. So we start here, levels like this. They go through game. They go through level loader, they come back out, and at the end of the day, we have tables that have entries in them. Knowing the entry, for example, square or spikes, we know the builder that goes with that. So if we look, let me get back to the right folder here. If we look in the scripts folder under builders subfolder, you're going to see 9 different builder scripts. Actually, after our session today, there'll be 10 because we're going to make one together. And we have coins, we have HPath, monster, player, and round, and then we have some other ones. Now, the simplest of these, the first one I ever made was round. And round is nothing more than a circle that sits in a location. It doesn't move, it doesn't rotate, doesn't do anything special. So that's the one we're going to examine because it is the simplest. If you want to look at the most complicated one, look at player. But I suggest starting with round, then look at square to see how that's different, and then perhaps look at timed round, which is the round one with some additional code in it to make it disappear. Then if you want to see how the things take advantage of the subtype, you could look at coins, which places a coin and looks at the subtype and places the coin on the top, on the right, on the bottom, or on the left side, and so on and so forth. But since we're looking at round, let me bring it up. The format of this file is extremely simple. All of these are modules, and so at the top of the file I've got my usual copyright statement, and then they require one file at least, which is common. Now common is a module that contains all of the settings for the game, and basically any variables that I wanted to have visible all over the place. So it's sort of like my personal global container. So instead of using global variables, I put them in common, the module, and then I just use it all over the place. After that, we do our traditional create a table, call it anything you want. I called it builder. Now builder will be the container in a sense that will hold the references to the method create, and we will return builder, and then that table reference is what is passed back to the other scripts that need to access this function or this method. And then as far as these go, most of them have just create, and that's it. Now some of them may have some other code, like player, as I said, much more complicated. It has some local functions and stuff like that. So you're going to see a much longer file. But as you can see, the builder for round is only 52 lines long, and that's with some blank lines and plenty of comments.